I wanted to talk about one of the pressure points of this shutdown, which is, of course, the ongoing delays when it comes to air travel. And we had a really interesting article today on the Bloomberg News terminal that's reporting that before the mandated flight cuts went into effect, some airline executives privately pressed for more information about the safety data around making these cuts. What do we know about these conversations between the private sector and the Trump administration?
Right. Well, this was terrific reporting by our colleagues because a lot of the airline executives and their communications people really don't want. They're very nervous these days, as all CEOs probably are, about irritating the White House and finding out some blowback that they couldn't even imagine coming at them. So it was very difficult for them to do this reporting. But the executives they did talk to said that they simply wanted to know what the basis was for canceling this many flights. They wanted the data and they were basically told that this is a decision that the FAA is making, that it is non-negotiable, and trust us. And, you know, the trouble is that the consumer doesn't call the FAA. The consumer calls Delta or Alaska Air or whoever it is that is flying them. And they, you know, were apparently quite frustrated that there was nothing to say. And on the Sunday talk show, Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, was on and was asked, is this a political decision? Are you trying, because that's what the suspicion is, right? That they're trying to make it so painful that the Democrats would cave and agree to reopen the government, which is ultimately what happened. So, and asked that on one of the Sunday shows, Sean Duffy said, no, it was the safety guys came to me, it wasn't me. And yet asked for the data that the safety guys gave to Sean Duffy, the airlines were told you can't see it.
Wow. Well, speaking of pain points, food stamps, SNAP benefits would be another where we've seen a real interruption in people's lives. Noteworthy, even after the gears started to turn on this compromise bill that's now passed the Senate, set to pass the House, the administration just yesterday went to the Supreme Court to ask for the court to block a lower court from forcing it to pay food stamps in full. Mm-hmm. What kind of political move is this? How do you make the argument for it? Or is this essentially about the authority of the executive, or is there more to it?
Well, obviously, that's the legal argument, the authority of the executive. However, appropriations begin, it's in the Constitution, begins with the House of Representatives.
Yes.
And it is up to them. But the House has largely ceded a lot of their duties to the White House and this administration, and they're allowing it to go. But in terms of the political thinking here, it sort of boggles my mind at what good politics is making your base go hungry? How does that work? The only thing that it would be, again, is the same thing with the airlines, is make it so politically difficult for everyone else that, you know, that they cave and vote the way you want them to. Because there were no real negotiations through this whole thing. It was the Republicans saying this is the way we want it, the Democrats saying this is the way we want it, and there wasn't that sort of push and pull about a year here or a few months here or a few $100 million there. Yeah. It was just they each have their positions and that was it. Mm-hmm. So I think, you know, they wanted to make the pain greater, but again, making people go hungry is an odd way to do it.